So what are some ideas that I can do with my tax refund? So as of February of this year, the average refund is currently $3,213. A couple of areas that you want to look for is one of the biggest wins is if you can pay off some of your credit card debt or all of your credit card debt and other high interest loans effectively, you're saving yourself anywhere from 20 to 30%. On average, right now, it's about 22% in the US. I'd also take about $1,000 and just set that aside for emergencies. So when something goes with the car or anything else, you can just draw from that and you don't have to take more debt on. The other thing that I like to use this for is invest. Now, a lot of times people say, well, I don't have money to invest. Over 40% of people say that they live paycheck to paycheck and can't afford an emergency, as well as they don't have any money to invest. What I would do with this money is I would actually take it, build up my emergency fund, and I would invest it. If I already have $1,000 and I keep it there year after year in a high interest savings account, it's right around 4 or 5% at the moment, that's fine, keep up with inflation, but at least invest some of the money. And I would propose doing it into a Roth IRA, and you can open these at a couple of different places, and I'll share a video with that as well. You could also put them in 401k, 403b, HSAs, things like that. And Roth just means that I've already paid the taxes on it, and then if I put it in there, it grows tax-free, basically for the life of it, and I don't have to take minimum required distributions when I'm 72 or 73. And I have access to that money for many different reasons, but if you want to withdraw all of it basically after 59 and a half years of age, there's no taxes, no penalties or anything like that. You can use it for special occasions, like if you're buying a primary residence, you can put some of the money down for a down payment. Also, if the money's been there for 5 years, you can withdraw some of the principal and you don't owe taxes or penalties on that as well. So I actually use this as a savings vehicle, and if I don't ever need it for anything, it's there in retirement. And the great thing is I can also leave that to my children, and they won't pay taxes on it as well. So what if I just took this money, this $3,213, which is the average tax return, and I invested it at 7%. I did that every year for 40 years. Guess what? I end up with $641,429. That's great. So that's a pretty healthy retirement. You'll be ahead of the majority of the people in the country, and for that matter, the world. Now, that's adjusted for inflation. If it's not adjusted for inflation, basically the last 30 years in the S&P 500 had a 10.7% rate of return over the last 30 years. If you subtract the inflation rate, it's somewhere between 7 and 8%. And things that track the S&P 500 would be things like SPY, VOO, VXAIX, or SWPPX. These are just different funds that have those 500 different companies in them. So that's just an example. And again, investments can lose value in any one year. You might have a drop of 20-30%, and then you may have several years that are, gains of 20 to 50%. Last year it was around, I think it was 24% or so. And then the year before that, it was a loss of 20-something%. So in a given year, you may lose value, but over time, generally the S&P 500 has returned 10.7% annual rate of return averaged over the last 30 years. So that's where I get that 10.7%, and that's where I get the 7%. So if you look at this, the actual value in the account would be $1.7 million. But if you want to know what is $1.7 million in today's value, that would be as if you had $641,000, and that's why I was only multiplying by 7%. So these are a couple of things that I would have done if I was trying to figure out what to do with my refund. So for my wife and myself, we actually just invested. We max out our Roth IRAs as well as our 401k, and basically that allows you to save a considerable amount of money each year. A Roth IRA at the moment, you can put away $7,000 per spouse, and if you have a spouse that's not earning an income outside of the home, effectively they can also have that contribution of $7,000 as long as one of the spouses is having that income, as well as they have to be married filing jointly. But that's a great way to ensure that we have a really nice retirement, and if we want, we can retire early as well. you do have a 10% early withdrawal penalty if you take out any of the basically the gains. But if you wait 5 years, you can take out the principal. So either way, it's a great way to spend the money and effectively, grow it as well. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day.